Welcome to the Voices in Recovery podcast. Voices in Recovery is produced by Freedom's Path Recovery Society, a registered Canadian charity. If you enjoy the podcast, please consider a donation at www.freedomspathrecoverysociety.ca. All donations go directly to assisting Freedom's Path in providing services free of charge and helps us keep the podcast going. We are grateful for any and all donations. This podcast discusses difficult topics such as childhood abuse, drug and alcohol use, sexuality, sexualized trauma, and more. If you are under the age of 18, please speak with your legal guardian prior to listening. The opinions expressed during the podcast are those of the individual and not those of Voices in Recovery or Freedom's Path Recovery Society. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the podcast.
This podcast is being recorded on the traditional land of the Blackfoot Confederacy. This consists of the Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, and the Blackfeet in the U.S. We acknowledge the Stoney Nakoda, which consists of the Bearspaw, Morley, and Chiniki. We acknowledge the Tsuut'ina Huardene and the Métis, Inuit, status and non-status from all of Turtle Island, and those who are visiting. We are all treaty people.
Yeah, so I went to the Black Pride YYC festival. This is the second one this year.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun. I think myself, I just want to see folks show up. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
It was so much fun. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, because first of all, there was booths, there was performers, there were folks giving talks, like the whole thing. It was just really cool. And I did something that I haven't done since I was in college. Oh my goodness. And it's not going to be the first fivesome I ever had. So we're not going to talk about that, because that did not happen. But that did happen in college. And that's for another. Maybe I'll talk about it again in Pride.
You should write a book for that. You'd probably sell a lot of copies.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't sell any copies. Yeah. I think like 5 people bought them. Yeah, anyway, it was a lot of fun. And I think there's so many things you can do at these places. And okay, so I'm talking to people out there who already go and do stuff. So you have to remember, though, that I am technically a hermit. Like, there's people that would literally that would say Dave is a hermit. Like, and I couldn't disagree. So
the hermit life is a good life, though. It's nice,
dude. It is. It's coming from my fellow hermit across town.
Oh man, big time.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it, because sometimes you just have to accept the way things are.
Yeah, well, that's right, eh?
Yeah, like we love working. I love my job and stuff, but you know what, dude? I've also learned to love home.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool. So, yeah. So anyway, Black Pride. I went and did something I haven't done since college. That's right. I got distracted by thinking about a 5. So never mind that. And for you kids out there, I encourage anyone over 18 to engage in as many fun things as you possibly can, especially while you're young, because as you get older, it hurts. Like very much hurts a lot more. Oh God, no. So I went and I had tarot cards read.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was a lady there, really cool lady. I don't have the card with me, but really cool human. And just like, because I'm a skeptic, dude, you know me. When we talk, I'm a skeptic. I don't really think there's much to the whole thing, except for like, the universal laws and all that stuff.
Sure.
Which is quite a lot to it if you think about it. I'm trying to clean my glasses, dude, and every time I give them a scrub, they get worse. It's just the weirdest thing, So I had my cards read, and literally. So, they do the reading, and I'm going to totally mess it up. So I'm not trying to quote her or anything that. But like, she basically laid out these cards and said that I'm starting to own myself, like who I am.
Nice.
And she started talking about this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying. I don't know if I am, but I'm really trying to do that more and more, be authentic. Right.
Yeah.
And so she was saying that. And then she goes, and there is someone that you're interested in, but you haven't, like, you're not ready. And I was like, well, I don't know who I'm interested in. So you could probably clue me in. You can tell me who I am interested in so that I can start to at least like feign interest or something.
Yeah.
and not drive them away. Um, but so she's going down this thing and saying, you will be ready eventually, and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. And of course, I didn't ask about that, but there's just something about humans. We always gravitate towards, oh, you're alone.
Yep.
Oh, you'll meet someone, right?
Right.
And like, and and of course, it doesn't take much to see that I'm alone. The way I dress, like, pretty much tells you that I'm alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, right? Because most people won't let their partner go out looking like me. Um, so anyway, I got the cards read, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm like, okay. So she goes, "Are you willing to be open? Because if you're willing to be open, then all these different things can happen." And I said,
Sure.
I probably am more open today, and not because I'm talking to you, I said, but like I'm probably more open today than I have been in about like probably 10 years.
Yeah.
And I said, she goes, it's been a journey. And we talked about that. And I said, yeah, I mean, like, everyone goes through stuff,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And she said, well, if you're open to it, something really cool is going to happen for you. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? Because I want to know. I don't like surprises. I don't trust you. Like, I'm
Right.
parent. I'm starting to get suspicious. So
And that
what's
is
happening?
pretty vague because at some point between here and the end of your life,
Something's going to
something
happen.
good is going to happen to you.
And I like that vagary about it because it
Yeah.
kind of makes me well, as she was talking, and I'm kind of going to go all over the place with this because it's been so long since I did something neat like this, and
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, well, weird for me because I don't believe,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's not as though I'm sitting there where she's reading the cards and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, first of all, she was awesome human,
Yeah.
fantastic. Obviously knows her stuff, knows her business.
Sure.
Um, yeah, as much as someone can. I bet she probably is probably really good at that. So anyway, so she's like, if you're open, something really cool is coming your way. And I was like, okay, well, this sounds like a fortune cookie. That's cool. Like, at
Yeah,
least
yeah.
at least she's giving me something positive, right? Because I'm kind of a
Absolutely,
Debbie
yeah.
Downer most of the time. Um, so she gives me something positive, and then like as we're just chatting, so we start chatting, and
Yeah.
then I thank her for like taking the time because even she could tell I was skeptical and all that.
Yeah.
And but she was really good about it. So anyway, as I get up, and I did go alone. As I get up, I turn around, and across the little lot where the vendors are, I see this guy that I know, and he is gorgeous. Okay, like, seriously, the closer he gets to me,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worse my brain works. Like, literally, as he's walking towards me, I can feel my brain, like Homer Simpson when the door
Yeah,
closes. That's basically what's going on in my brain. The whatever's operating it runs out the back door when this guy's
yeah.
around. Um, and of course, like, he comes over and we hug, and because we
Yeah.
know each other, and we go back, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that woman, she's a witch. Like, I stood up, and here he is.
Yeah.
And trust me when I say, I mean, he's out of my league,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
of all. But honestly, like, it was so funny because I almost told him, I said, now I almost said, you have to marry me now.
Yeah,
And like, it almost came out of my mouth when we hugged. But what did come out of my mouth when we hugged, as usual, was a moan.
yeah.
So I have that going for me.
Way to
I'm
keep it awkward, buddy.
right. I have the super awkwardness going for me.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, I wanted to talk about that, and I think, like, in
I think things like
Calgary,
that are really fun to do, though. Like, I mean, it's not like you go every week, right? So,
no, but
and I
that's
don't know,
part of
maybe
why.
it's some sort of comfort. I don't know.
Mhm.
There's something about your brain, I think, that just enjoys it.
It does, and
Yeah.
the comfort there, like, was the whole thing, right? And then when I saw this man, then the comfort went to another level, and I
Yeah.
just like, and I had to I apologize to him after. I said, hey, did I get a little handsy on your back there when we were hugging? And he said, well, no. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I felt like I got handsy. And then I said, it's probably because I wanted to get handsy. And so, like, and everything in my brain saying, don't get handsy, you weirdo. Um, like, don't massage his back while you're hugging him.
Yeah.
That's weird. Even though it seemed like a nice thing at the time. Like, yeah. So anyway, it's a good time. And it's leading into Pride, obviously, because
Yep.
Pride Parade's coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and you're going to Pride, aren't you?
Yeah, I believe so. My
Yeah.
daughter, I think, is in the parade again this year.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to take my new dog and go and be there
Nice.
for it all. Yeah, yeah.
Right on, man. You can take some video and some photos this year?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Right on. Keep your eyes peeled, man. Because I plan on like going out there looking like I've never looked before in public, except
Nice,
for maybe
man.
one Halloween when I was in my teens. Yeah,
Nice, man.
when I dressed up as a woman. Yeah,
Nice.
that was and that was too long ago.
Yeah,
As I
yeah.
think about it now.
Are you
Yeah.
going with a group?
Yeah, I'm gonna be walking with Stonewall.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So and and I know that your wife is invited to walk with us.
Yes.
Um,
And I'm not
yeah, and
I
I'm not
I'm not
sure who
sure
she's
what
walking
she's
with.
doing.
She
So,
has so many invitations.
yeah.
I wouldn't even think to get in her way. That's for
Yeah.
damn sure. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I don't know if she is actually committed to marching in any of them. I don't know because I know
yeah.
last year she kind of just backed away and actually just went and we just went and sat and watched and had a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe she's just at that point where she just kind of like wants to watch everybody instead of doing the
Yeah.
7 hours of on your feet,
Oh,
you
I
know.
know. It's going to be a long day. And
Yeah,
it's
for
much
sure.
longer when you are marching. It's true. This will be the third time I've marched, but
Mm,
um the first time I marched was I can't even like no, this would be the fourth time I've marched. Holy fuck,
nice.
dude. I've been involved. Yeah, no, I'm so happy to
Yeah,
hear that.
that's true because it wasn't in
Yeah.
2020 when we went to video
Yeah,
because
and the
that was
year
during
before
COVID.
that, that's right. And the year
And
before that, I
and I think
marched with Heather.
yeah, yeah, and then I think you've
Yeah.
gone every year after that. You've been in the
Yeah,
parade.
but I didn't march in every one.
Oh no?
I watched the one. No, I didn't. I did march in every one. That's right. You have a good memory.
Yeah. Don't say that, dude.
Yeah, I
On
know.
this particular moment of time, I had a good memory.
I was going to say, in this instance, your memory is right on that.
I was trying
Um,
to we were looking for something earlier that we had just bought like 5 days ago.
yeah,
And so we're running around the house and I said to my Michelle, I'm like, so we have to try to figure out what mode our brains were in at the moment and what the logic stream was because who knows? That's how
yeah,
my memory
exactly.
works.
That's fair, and that's usually how mine works too.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah.
anyway,
So,
sorry, back to marching
no,
in parade
no. Oh God, no. It's
or
okay.
in pride.
We're allowed to go all over the place. It's our gig, man. We're allowed to do whatever we want. Um, and that's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it was more thinking about like just how this year coming up on Pride, because last year I bowed out because I had work to do and
Mm,
we had just moved. We were downtown and oh no, that was
that's
right.
right.
We've been there for a year.
Yeah.
But it was busy. Anyway, I don't know. This year I was like I was reminded along the way here the last few months by
Yeah.
folks like that it's important and I know folks say this all the time and I'm just repeating what really smart people say but like embracing the joy right of like being queer
Yeah.
and a lot of folks that I hang around are like really in that space right where they really do embrace the joy of being themselves
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I gotta tell you I got a lot to learn about that man like
Yeah.
I but when I see it, I do feel it, right?
Yep.
Like when I'm there. And when I'm around other queer folks, I really feel it, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like you're at your like at a drag show. I feel like I am definitely at like whatever kind of church it might be for folks like me. Right?
I would imagine you just feel more comfortable,
100%. Yeah.
right?
Like
Like you can
I mean,
literally just let the guard down and just be you.
yeah. Dude, I turn my back to the whole room. I
Yeah.
like I never lived that way. And
Right?
but when I'm in community with folks who are also queer, it just doesn't even enter my mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't now that doesn't mean that people can't hurt you. Obviously, you have to
Well,
be
yeah.
careful. But the idea of being comfortable, and as a non-drinking alcoholic in a bar, like the last couple nights ago, last week, I guess now, well,
Yeah.
it's Monday. Last week I went to a drag show where couple of friends were performing, and it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Nice.
And I actually stayed for the whole show,
Yeah.
which is unlike me in a bar, right? Because I kind of like once people start getting tipsy, I start getting like outy
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
and no fault of theirs. I want them to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for sure.
if this curmudgeon is around, nobody's enjoying themselves when they start slurring their speech and stuff because they'll be like, "Hey, have you had enough to drink?" And so like, and I can kind of hear that come up in my brain sometimes, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, dude, mind your fucking business first of all, and
Sorry, I'm just envisioning you falling back on your. Have you heard the good work or good word of the book?
oh shit! All of a
Like
sudden,
three
that just
quarters of the
comes
way through
out.
this drag show, Dave's going
Yeah.
around table to table like a Jehovah or something.
I'm doing the like I'm doing the 12 stepping in those in that bar. That's what happens. That's what we would
Repent that
call it.
drink, repent
Yeah.
that drink.
But if you can imagine back in the day, 12 steppers actually would go straight into a bar and 12 step
Oh
somebody.
my God. Yeah, no.
Yeah, man. The
Sorry.
evolution of that particular program has been quite fantastic,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, and in all fairness, like it's evolved quicker than the church, so I'll give them that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah. It's taken them 100 years, where it's taken the church still like 3,000, and they
Yeah.
haven't changed much. So
Right.
yeah, or sorry, 2,000. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. What do they believe again? Like 5,000 years old or something like that? I
I
don't
think
know.
that the whole thing is 6,000 years old. I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the.
6,000 now.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Because we've been alive for 2,000. Because when I
yeah.
because when I was younger, it was 4,000, and
Yeah,
now
I
it's
know,
six
I know,
thousand.
man.
But that's what happens as time goes on. We get
Right?
dumber.
Exactly.
Anyway, back to queer joy. Um, because I know we do talk a lot about a lot of heavy shit on here, man.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's not like we won't talk about that throughout this podcast. Because the one thing I like that keeps me from the joy sometimes is that like not wanting, feeling guilty for feeling joy while I
Hmm.
know there's so many people suffering,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And someone actually said, well, you feeling joy is in support of those people too, like because joy at this time is resistance,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it's like this was particular specific to being queer. These folks were talking
Yeah.
about how they embrace it is because so many people had to die for
Yeah.
us to get to where we are, just for queer folks. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, we're not even going to talk like we might talk about other groups of humans, but we're just talking about queer folk, right? Just for this minute,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like, and that's not to say that queer folk are the most important. That's not what I'm saying. Um, it's just that process of going from where we were hated, where it was illegal,
Yeah.
to a place now where we can gather and we can like
And you have
embrace
your own
that joy.
spaces and yeah.
Yeah. And like part of those spaces, yes, were created out of a necessity because
Yeah.
there were so many harmful spaces.
Oh,
But
sure.
yeah, and another reason is so that we can gather and feel joy,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, it's not just to escape the pain, but also to be together so that we can like say, oh, you know what, this is what we were missing, right? Like,
Absolutely. And I think it's like, there's just a level of I think ease that comes with being in your community. And I think that applies to
mm,
anybody. I
yeah,
mean, if you're a big Flames fan, to be in a room full of
hmm
Flames fans is a great feeling, right? Like
yeah,
that's kind of the like on a base level, that's kind of a similar feeling. Like you don't have
hmm
to explain why you're a Flames fan. You don't have to
nope,
explain, like you just walk in and you got your jersey on, everybody's like, "All right."
yeah.
And right there, you don't have to explain a part of yourself or hide or try to judge like, is this person okay to talk to about stuff? And I don't know,
hmm
like, and I would think that that's a very difficult thing to do in all other straight rooms where you
hmm
don't know how people are going to react, right? Like,
Well, yeah, and historically speaking, they haven't reacted well, right? Like
exactly. And I
to
mean, we
most
live
of
in a
us.
very
Yeah,
conservative province, and that's not a
yeah,
knock, it's just the reality. There's a lot of people here that are very homophobic, very anti-gay, very wanting to
hmm
turn the time back and
yeah,
repeal marriage and all that kind of stuff, right? We live in the
yeah.
heart of that.
Well, and I mean, they're
So,
doing that down south. So
absolutely.
that's a good point to bring up is because aren't they working on repealing um the federal laws in terms of same-sex marriage down there?
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. They're
Yeah,
trying to do the same thing that they did with Roe versus Wade, which is have the
yeah.
Supreme Court overturn it again. And
And
Yeah.
eventually they will get it overturned, right?
Oh,
Just
they will.
because,
Like, why not?
and how they do that, when people say, well, how can they do that? And it's like, well, by selectively putting judges in there, that's how.
Like, they're all corrupt. They're all taking millions of dollars worth of bribes. Like, it's crazy. Uh-oh. I think Dave locked up.
Yeah, I can't remember what I just said, but I mean, whatever's on the recording will be fine.
Yeah,
If
that's
it,
right. I'll just edit this up a little.
yeah, whatever we got to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's about obviously the embracing of queer joy, right?
Yeah.
And whatever it is we're talking about in terms of pride, it's like it's not like a criticism though. What I'm trying to get at is that if I embrace the joy, I'm not criticizing folks who don't, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
so, and those folks who are embracing the joy, they're not criticizing me um,
Hmm.
for when I can't feel that, right? Like, and so like what I've noticed in lots of different parts of our community is, and I keep hearing this coming from folks that there's so much division, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like there is division, of course there is. No matter where you go, there's going to be division because we're all
Sure.
fighting the same goddamn system,
Yeah.
and we're using the same system that we're fighting to fight the system,
Yeah.
right? Like we're locking ourselves up because once we take an individual perspective on this and shut out other perspectives, we're just the same as the other side,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we're doing exactly what we're fighting against.
Yeah.
And I know the idea that this could be a quick adjustment, well, that's silly. Obviously, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
Um, first we get the laws in our favor that we can be together,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
as a man, and then gradually other things will change in
Yeah.
respects to that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think one of the things that I get caught up with is trying to make changes too quick, not and forgetting that the system doesn't work that way.
Well, and that's the thing, like I think expecting change quickly is like it's 20-year battle. Like
Yeah,
it's like when you hear these things go to the Supreme Court and they get decisions. A lot of that
yeah,
stuff started 12 years ago though.
yeah,
So it's like anything in this system is a long, drawn out, expensive thing.
yeah.
So,
Well, and first of all, Dave, before I move on, because I keep forgetting, your beard looks amazing.
oh,
I haven't I
thanks,
haven't
man.
seen you in a few weeks, man. It's looking really good.
It's
Um,
definitely getting grayer in a certain area. I was
well,
looking at
and it,
pictures from like a couple of years ago, like COVID, and I was like, oh my
yeah,
God, it's like black compared to what it is now.
yeah, man. I can see it. It looks good though. Yeah, it's looking good, man.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. And so, sorry, what were we saying before I complimented your beard?
I don't know, man.
Dude, that's what happens when
Speaking of
you're
memory.
right. And when you're working with someone like myself who might have a touch of autism and
Right. Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right, I just kind of go everywhere sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, anyway,
Yeah, I
back to
guess
the to
we
the
are about what, 2 weeks away from Pride Parade?
yeah,
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 yeah.
2 weeks,
And then
which
I
is
think in and
amazing
around there there's a bunch of things too, because I think isn't it the Trans and Dyke March like the day
on the
before?
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think there's something after. I can't remember it all, but I know there's a bunch of stuff around there.
Yeah, and so I'm going to go down to the Trans and Dyke March.
Yeah,
I wanted to catch it last year when I missed it, um, and it's just so much fun, right? There's
it
so much
is.
fun
Yeah,
to be had,
yeah,
and yeah, and even in that fun, it's an act of resistance,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so like, but I also understand there's other ways that folks are resisting, and they probably feel ostracized because they're critical of pride, they're critical of things like
Yeah, yeah,
sponsorship and all different corporate sponsorship and stuff. And you know what? I appreciate that they're against this.
sure.
I really do. Like there needs to be a balance, right,
Yeah,
of this, with some reality, but so is joy a reality,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
embracing that joy, and trying to because one of the things I want to talk about in terms specifically of Pride is Calgary Pride, like the
Yeah,
actual organization that does the
yeah, yeah,
parade every year. Is I've gotten to know some of the folks that are working with them,
yeah,
and it really does sound like obviously nothing's perfect, but we
yeah.
were just
No.
talking about like the evolution and how things change and it takes time.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and I could be absolutely off, but that they've made a bunch of really good, positive forward changes in terms
Yeah.
of their structure and how they're approaching some sponsorship. Like I
Hmm.
found out that, I mean, it could be like, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what I did hear was that Pride is not necessarily, I mean, obviously they are not ignoring the fact that people are calling for boycotts of different places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's one thing I encourage folks to look into on their own. I mean, I have no details. I just have some like bits and pieces that there are things in the work. Look in the works for it.
Yeah.
Look into it. I imagine that Pride would be willing to answer whatever questions they can at this point.
Yeah. I'm sure on their
Um,
website they probably have a bunch of
yeah,
information
good
there for
call.
things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Just recognize I know that I've been critical of them in the past, and I'll always be critical of folks like
Yeah.
when it's right to be critical, but I'll also give credit where I think it's probably a due a little bit, right? Is that
Absolutely.
when organizations like this that have been steeped in certain types of ideas for a
Yeah.
long period of time, you know, you and I, we've been allowed to change. And so like I want to like give that to other folks too, you know, like that's all. I just want to be fair about
Well,
that.
and the reality is these organizations are part of a system like we were talking about that is
Yeah,
slow to change,
yeah,
and sometimes they are slow to change. Um,
yeah,
Unfortunately, and sometimes the old crew needs to be replaced, and new
yeah,
people need to come in. So that's kind of the life of like a nonprofit, really.
yeah. As it should be, like having having different aspects um, of growth include like failing and then
Yeah,
succeeding from that failure, you know. And there's no perspective on pride that
yeah,
that takes into account every other perspective. And so one of the
yeah,
things that one of the things I was thinking was like, well, that's part of why I get bummed up when I think about it, is because I forget that. I forget that there's a whole gamut of
yeah,
humans that make up obviously that make up the queer community. Um, and within that, within our humanity, are going to be all kinds of perspectives, which are all accurate, right? Like
yeah,
in their own way.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's part of what I think we're struggling with right now is how do we honor everyone when we don't
Yes,
agree with everyone, right? Like how
yeah,
can we honor you even if we don't agree?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
we can you and I we can talk about it all day long. I don't have to agree with you on everything for us to be
yeah,
friends, right?
for sure.
So what at what point did we not take that into other kinds of relationships, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm guilty of it, don't get me wrong. But like I said, if we wake up tomorrow and we find out that something awful happens because of some Calgary Pride stuff,
yeah,
well, I'm 100% willing to be like, okay, apparently they weren't going as
yeah.
forward as we thought.
Well,
Like,
like you said,
and that's
you're right to be critical when it needs to be something needs to be critically looked at. Like,
yeah,
and I
and I
think
appreciate.
if you're trying to serve a community and only a portion
Mhm.
of that community is being served, well, I think it's fair to be critical. Like, why isn't the rest of that community being served that
Yeah.
same way? And I think that's where I do think people get it mixed up between like fighting and animosity and just
Hmm.
wanting to see change to make it more inclusive or just a smoother process or whatever the
Yeah.
that battle is, right? It's to see an outcome that benefits more people than just maybe a
Hmm.
smaller group.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's a perspective that I mean that I don't always keep, but I think
Hmm.
that is a good
Well, me
perspective
neither.
to try to keep, right?
Yeah. And Darcy, you just said it. Like you don't always keep it. Neither do I. Neither does anyone.
That's like
Right? Like,
I always start off driving very happy.
yeah, that's
I
right.
don't
You're
always
always
end
a
that
really
way.
no matter what's going on, I'm a happy guy when I get in that car. And
Yeah,
when
that's
I get
right.
out, not so much.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I do
Um,
try to practice what I preach, but
well, but that's because you're a human, all you can do is practice it.
yeah,
Just just like any other person of us, right? Like
Yeah. Oh, I think it locked up again.
All right, man. There you are. How's this?
That's good.
Okay.
My internet connection is unstable. Why?
Oh, I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I don't know
Maybe
what's
there's
happening.
like maybe there's video games being played in another room.
Yeah, that damn child. I don't know. You certainly pay enough for internet.
Yeah, dude. And one day you get the fastest, and by 6 months later, it's the slowest. So
Right? Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, hopefully that when you go through this editing, you can figure that out. I don't know what
Yeah, it'll
happened.
be easy to spot.
Oh, right on. Yeah, it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
The part where my head gets frozen and starts floating around. Yeah.
Right.
Um, so yeah, the trying to get more involved in that stuff,
Nice.
in the joy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been good, man. Like it's
Yeah.
hard for me. I'm not really I don't know what happened to me,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely not as happy-go-lucky as I once was.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still happy, and when I'm around certain folks, like I feel safe and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm happy, but
Yeah.
I'm not that happy-go-lucky kid I used to be. That's for sure. Like,
Yeah. I can feel that,
because
man. Yeah, I totally get that.
yeah, and I don't, and I know we come by it honestly, right? Because like some
Yeah.
of the stuff that we've been through, man, we just come to a point where it's like, okay, I get it. Like there are some realities that I didn't want to be true, but they're true,
Yeah.
like, and the older we are, the older we get, the more we see some of those things as true. Like they just
Well,
are.
and I think the world right now, it's like there is lots of pockets of joy, but
Hmm.
it's when you have to face the realities of the world with
Yeah,
just genocide everywhere and threats of war and just everything that's
yeah.
going on. It is hard to just be like upbeat and
Uh,
so I think it's not that you're you know just seeing everything as black, but there's a lot of gray. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah. And the gray
I
does
think
affect
for
me.
me
So
that's what it is it's just hard to
yeah.
be like really peppy when it's like, yeah, but like a kid like 2 blocks away from where I live got murdered the other night. And,
Oh,
like
yeah.
and there's a memorial that I have to walk by with my dogs now every day. So, like,
Yeah.
it's hard to just be
Awful
like,
shit.
yay.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And that's kind of what like pops to mind is that we say it to each other all the time. It's like I'm as good as it can be, I think.
Yeah.
Given that right this minute there's people that aren't okay,
Yeah. And
that are
absolutely, yeah. And I think
yeah.
that's why going to events and things like that, when you do go,
Yeah.
you can really enjoy it. You know what I mean?
100%. And that's interesting segue into protests, right? Like
Yeah.
because one of the things that folks have been trying to remind each other of since our friend Batul passed away um, is to try to find the joy, right?
Hmm.
And because sometimes you get so wrapped up in that, like the anger of it, of being, that righteous anger at
Yeah.
the way things are, and that stuff, like even though it's righteous anger, it could still overwhelm you, right?
Oh,
And it could
totally.
still suck you in, um,
Yeah.
and it sucks lots of us in, because what's going on out there is so blatantly and obviously awful,
Yeah.
right? Like genocide is fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so of course, like if you're constantly there, but what I noticed the last few times was that we started like laughing with each other and
Yeah.
we're starting to like really bond, right?
Absolutely.
Because we've been almost 2 years standing out there together
Yeah.
and lots of folks like Michelle and Sima and we saw them like they've been doing this since forever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this has been their life forever,
Yeah.
and I know now how they make it. It's because you go there and you connect and you share that joy with each other,
Absolutely. Well,
right? As best you can.
and then when you go to other events, even though you're still political or it's
Yeah,
still an activist event kind of thing,
yeah.
you meet people you know. I mean, of course, it's going to be a more warm and welcoming environment, right? And
Hmm.
I found, especially with Michelle, like like there's a lot of friendships that she built from like 12 years ago going to starting
Hmm.
to go to protests that she's
Yes.
still friends with people now, right? Like
Yeah.
Sima and people like that. So it is
Yeah.
pretty cool to be able to get immersed into a whole new community,
It is.
and find people that are very like-minded.
Well, like-minded, but not exactly like-minded.
Well,
You know
no,
what I
like
mean? Like,
different
but
cultural viewpoints,
yeah.
different everything, right? But morally kind of along the same path.
Well, and yeah, and with a very common spirit in mind, that spirit of
Hmm.
humanity, right?
Hmm.
And like you said, it takes many forms in the crowd.
Yeah.
And like, just as much as like joking with each other and all that stuff. And of course, like making fun of cops as we walk by them. And that because that always cracks each other up,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
well,
when someone says something funny to the cops, all of us laugh. Like it's
oh
pretty
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it for a while because sometimes the cops are ridiculous. And
Oh,
so
for
like,
sure.
and so we make it clear that we to them that we think they're ridiculous. Um, and that's about, but that's resistance for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's, I mean, the next step of those things are the violent responses that may be coming one day, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
from society, and not
Yeah,
from
yeah.
us, but from society,
Yeah.
because eventually society is going to fight back. Like it's going to
Oh
be,
yeah.
as you and I have seen, even in the course of Voices in Recovery podcast,
Yep.
we have seen this like build up, right?
Absolutely.
Like, let me ask you this, Darcy. When was the last time you saw so much worker unrest
Oh, right.
in like
Absolutely.
North America, right? Like,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
like look at the
maybe,
union right now. Like they're forced to go back to work and they're like, "No, we're just not
yeah,
gonna."
yeah. Like you don't
So,
get to tell us that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and honestly, I think workers need to unite in all of
fucking
North
A.
America and stand
Yep,
up for what's right. Because there's
100%.
no
And
need for billionaires. You can
yeah,
be 100 millionaire and just live nice and fine. Like,
well, and
but the
if
rest of
you're,
us need to be able to buy medicine and buy
yeah,
clothes and like eat.
well, but this, and that's my thing is this fine if you're a billionaire, if everyone else can eat too?
Yeah,
Like that's fine.
exactly.
But since that's not how this works, then we need to figure out how to divvy up that
Yeah.
shit, right? Like, or make it so that that shit doesn't mean life or death,
Yeah.
right?
And I
Because I
think
mean,
like, we're seeing people protesting. This is a
yep,
strike is a protest. And
yeah.
I honestly,
And to
I'd
all
like to
those like
see,
folks out there, man,
yeah,
striking.
absolutely. And I'd like to see other unions that are maybe auxiliary to those environments or like,
Hmm.
maybe a supply chain union or something like
Yep,
in solidarity, just like, no,
yeah.
we're not
I
delivering there. We're not bringing,
Yeah,
doing this there. Like, whatever it is, like
yeah.
to stand with them. Like,
Well, and that's where we're headed. Like, I mean,
yeah,
because if you watch any like apocalypse movie, that it shows the decline at the end of society, Western society, is food riots, um,
yeah,
worker riots, like
yep,
protests for like the oppressed, genocide. Like these are things that we know lead this kind of culture, our capitalist culture, colonialist culture, into ruin, right?
absolutely.
But because it doesn't happen overnight, people think, oh no, it's working. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you don't realize the span of time of 100 years is nothing.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
absolutely nothing. It means nothing. Like,
Yep,
and all the advances we've made in 100 years, I know that's been like a huge amount of advance for the last
yeah,
100 years versus
yeah,
the
yeah,
previous, like in terms of technology and stuff.
yeah.
But like, um, it's just so strange that we haven't evolved our brain with it. Like
Yeah, I know. I know.
the
We haven't
overall
figured out a better
brain.
way.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out with all of our brilliance. We still haven't figured that out.
Well,
So
and that's
anyway,
also it's funny because I always feel like we like there again we segregate things in society. For example, I always talk about with my wife and other people about like the MMIW inquiries, calls to action, and things like that. Like people think of those things as indigenous, but they help everybody that has things like domestic violence or bad police interactions or bad interactions with healthcare people. It
Mhm.
helps everyone by creating a better system in those areas for everyone. And I think that's the misnomer of a lot of things. Like pride is not, to me, pride represents just letting people live their lives. And if it doesn't hurt you in a bad way, then just don't care. Just let them live their
Yeah,
lives, right? And so
yeah,
to me, that's what it represents because I'm a straight dude. So I don't
mm.
need a parade. I get one every day. So, but like, to me,
Well,
that's what it kind of
whoop-de-doo.
represents. But that's what it represents, right? Is like everybody
Yeah,
should just be allowed to live. And I
yeah,
think I think we need to start understanding that while pride is a protest for all of the bad shit that's happened to that whole
yep.
community in the past, like the rest of us can learn from that too. And the
Mhm.
rest of us can benefit from them having more access and better acceptance. It helps
Yeah.
everybody who needs more acceptance in our general society. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that don't get acceptance.
Well, yeah, and even within like straight normative
Absolutely.
communities. Yeah,
Yes. There's discrimination everywhere. So the more
yep,
of it you can get rid of, the more it benefits everyone. Right?
yeah. It sure does, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can imagine a culture now. I can imagine it, where whereas queer people, we're much more open about like how we love
Hmm.
versus just how we fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what all people are interested in is what we
Yeah.
do behind closed doors in the bedroom, as
Yeah.
opposed to like the fact that we can love each other in ways that other folks might not be able to understand,
Yeah.
right? And up until, well, I guess in my life anyway, I don't know much about what it was like before that for people in terms of thinking, but like being able to um, experience life as a queer person, it, I think instead of looking at it like it's a degenerative thing,
Yeah.
which has been historically what Western society has looked at it for sure,
Yeah.
like it's some kind of like, character defect or
Yeah.
something,
Disease or
or
whatever
mental
it is.
illness as it
Yeah.
was, or disease, right? The truth of the matter is, if you stop thinking that way, that those folks that think that way, and you started paying attention, you might actually start to understand that it's no different than how a straight guy chooses a woman. Like a straight woman chooses a man. A man chooses a man. It's the same way. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's there's chemical attraction. There's
Yep.
physical. There's all the same stuff happening.
Absolutely.
And it's literally it's no different.
Yeah.
And maybe like someone mentioned this to me. They said, sometimes they think, and they're a queer man, but sometimes they think that cis men simply jump to the sex part in their brain, and that's why they get turned off so much from the idea of it. And and I thought, oh, well, that's fucking wow. Because like, what if like that sounds true almost? Where
That's
if your
probably
first
true. Yeah.
image, right, the first image guys love each other, or if they met on Grinder or in the park or
Yeah.
whatever, like you're just going to assume it was all about sex.
Yeah.
You're not going to say, well, they developed through meeting in the park. That's just one of those things that a cis person might not be able to understand. But at a time before Grinder and before dating apps and dating sites, that's where we met.
Yeah.
We met in parks. And I remember when folks made a big deal. You remember when George Michael got caught
Oh, yeah.
at a bathroom? Yeah, and folks made a big deal about it, and I understand because they don't get it. That's the only place that George might have been able to go at that time to meet a guy that wasn't in a club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
And so
No.
like, no, no, it's okay, man.
Well, and yeah, I think it's the other thing that I see a lot of though is vilifying, people in the gay community
Mm-hmm.
for doing things that the straight community does every day as a
Yeah.
casual, everyday thing,
Yeah.
like public sex. You think straight
Yep.
people have never had public sex? And
Of
as of
course.
right now, there's somebody having sex in public as a straight couple, right?
Yeah.
Like somewhere in North America.
Well, and lots of straight couples
So,
fetishize it. Yeah.
right, like there's a lot of things that straight people do, but it gets
Yeah.
back to that. Why? Because I do it, it's okay, but you can't. Like, God
Yeah.
forbid you have joy or
Yeah. When you
or
do it, it's
have
criminal.
right? And it's everything from like holding hands in public or showing public displays of affection to having sex in bathrooms. Like there's never
Yeah.
been straight couples that have sex in bathrooms on airplanes or like come
Yeah.
on. Like really like so I always find it kind of hilarious and hypocritical when straight
Mhm.
people are like, "Ah, you shouldn't do that." Really?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sodomy's
But
bad. Really? But straight
yeah,
couples never really?
it's only bad when it's men doing it to each
Right?
other.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just a
Yeah.
lot of hypocrisy for that shit. And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I find it hilarious. I mean, it's like when priests are out there saying, oh, gay people are all pedophiles,
Yeah.
but they're the pedophiles. So it's like
Yeah.
the hypocrisy is, not lost on me.
No doubt, right? Like it's the weird, and it's the weirdest thing. That's always how it goes.
Yeah,
I was thinking about like in terms of like, even within the queer community, we differ in opinions on things,
sure.
obviously, because we're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like we're just human,
You're
right?
people.
And
Everybody's
to have
normal.
to say that out loud is funny, but it
Right.
comes from that a lifetime of not being treated like a human,
Right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
For that one thing.
Yeah.
Um, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. Woo, squirrel. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. That's how
what?
I feel lately, man.
Yeah. What the hell were we talking about?
Like George Michael and just being allowed
Hmm.
to be who you are and
Yeah, and just be allowed to be who you are, right? Which I believe we'll get there. I believe
yeah,
we will. It's just going to take some generations to go by, for
yeah.
those changes to happen, right? Like,
Well, and I do
um,
have a lot more hope for the younger generations. I see a lot more
yeah.
acceptance in them for a lot of things. Like
Hmm.
my daughter and I often joke around about some of the bullying things that I remember from like even, junior high, you'd make fun of somebody for having glasses. Like
Hmm.
whereas now they're like, why would that be like what is there to make fun of? Like it
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense to a lot of them. I'm not going to say all of them, but
Yeah. Obviously not
But
everyone,
I
but
just I find generally speaking, when I hear their conversations, there's a lot more
mhm.
acceptance of just whatever, where I'm like, that's not
Yeah.
how I remember talking to my friends ever.
Yeah. Oh, I
Like,
never would. No, no.
right? And I just
Yeah.
so I do have a lot more
Your
hope there.
child is enlightened though.
Well,
You're
I
right. Like your
and I mean
child's a bit
I'm sure she
enlightened.
surrounds herself with like-minded individuals as that's how we all
Yeah.
are in life. But I
Yeah.
just even when I hear like I've we have she has some friends from like grade 1 to 4
Hmm.
who are don't live in our world.
Hmm.
They're yeah, anyway. And so it's always interesting, but even with them I find the parents are like gay
Hmm. Yeah.
but the children are like yeah, like it
What's the
doesn't
big
matter.
deal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they're very open that they have like friends that have already come out as gay and they're like cool.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
so it's just a
yeah.
different level of acceptance and I
Yeah.
find hope in that.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. I think there is hope in that. And I think it's like, oh, there's a lot of hope in that. And the fact that we all have different opinions, right? Like on these things,
Yeah.
isn't a criticism of us.
No.
It should, I think somehow I want to find a way to embrace that because it's not a
Yeah.
criticism. It's a gift that we give each other when we're different, when we're genuine, right?
Yeah.
Um, like some queer people really believe that when they were allowed to get married, when we were allowed to get married, that was the pinnacle of growth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
However, some of us don't think that's the pinnacle. Because
Right?
I think, why would I want to be as miserable as a straight couple? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Yeah.
get married and be miserable.
Right?
Whether, yeah, but obviously, I think it's a great thing that I could marry a man if one asked me and was good enough for me, I I could marry a man if I wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that doesn't mean just because I don't necessarily think marriage is the pinnacle, that doesn't make me wrong.
No.
Because I think the pinnacle is going to be something that encompasses everyone.
Hmm.
That's the pinnacle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When the queer community, when we're no longer, and not because we're forced to do it, but because we naturally get into this groove of just being a part of humanity,
Yeah.
there then we'll gradually not have to do it, right? But
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
just not there yet.
Yeah.
You know, we still point fingers at each other, um, instead of saying, hey, like, that's an interesting point. Can you tell me more
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
tell me more about why, marriage isn't the pinnacle for you.
But
Do I
Dave, if
think
we
it's
were all
awesome?
level-headed and logical, then
Of
things would be so much easier. Where would be the fun in
course,
that? We have to
that's a
argue and
good
stomp
point.
feet, and
Yeah,
I just said feet, and that's fine. Okay.
feats. Yeah,
Stomp
well, because
feet.
we're still at that place where we have monkey feet
Yeah.
and monkey brains.
Well, in
Like,
reality, that's what we're taught because that's what
yeah,
everything in life is. If you're liberal or Democrat, or if you're this or that,
yeah.
this sports team, that sports team, this school versus this school. There's always got to be rivalry,
It's
and
always
that's what we're
binary, right?
taught, as opposed to like, no, those are just other humans that went to a whole other building for some other thing. It doesn't make us like have to hate each other for it.
No,
And I think
yeah,
that's just what a lot of things in our society build us up for.
yeah.
Like, men have to play violent sports, and we have to
Mhm.
be absolutely insane about them and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
so I think it's only natural when you have community that there is a little bit of like, wow, infighting and stuff
yeah.
like that. But again, that's just
Because
a natural part of being human. And as long as
yeah.
nobody's really like hurting anybody, I guess it's just words.
Well, and at this time in human history, it's a good time for us to use our words and to
Yeah,
try to like to try to get to that place where we're just a part of the wave of humanity like everyone else, right?
yeah,
But because there's so many different humans that are oppressed and punished for being alive,
yeah,
that we have a long way to go, right?
absolutely, yeah,
Because we're still fighting against folks who want it to be this way. And
yeah,
And that's one of the things that some progressive folks have a hard time seeing, is that there
well,
are actual people working against it.
yeah. Well, and then I think you have too where, yeah, I think in all reality, this is still a very much a real struggle today. And there's
Hmm.
people coming to this country, there's people in this country that, for whatever reason, are still not able to be really open about things.
Yeah.
So it's hard to mix people who are hesitant about something with people who are just like really open and free about it. It's going to naturally be create some sort of friction because it's just not where everybody's at the same level with everything. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it is
Yep.
hard to meet everybody where they're at with a large event like this, I think.
Hmm.
But I think they do. I think they do a great job of absolutely trying.
Well, and that's it though, Darcy. Like, that's kind of all they can do is try.
Yeah.
Like the rest of us, right? We're just trying. I'm just
Hmm.
trying. Every day I'm just trying. I don't
Yeah.
do a great job every day. I just keep trying every day.
Yeah.
And thankfully there's people like in my life and even on the outside that are okay with that. You
Yeah.
know, I think for as long as someone like in my life or in my life, as long as someone is like living their best life, it's okay. Whatever it
Yeah.
is that happens, right? Like it's okay. Just live your best life and you know,
Absolutely.
we're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so and I know that I know it's different because these are institutions. And institutions, we might sometimes think that we have that there's a way to change them instantly, right? And
Yeah.
but you see, what we've done is it's taken so long. Some of these institutions are so entrenched. It's going to take for say 150 years of policing in North America. It's going to take at least 500 years for us to recover from what we've
Yeah.
experienced as a collective society at the
Absolutely.
hands of
Absolutely.
government thugs,
Yeah.
right? Um, because even though some of us have been treated fairly because of the color of our skin through the years, by fairly, I obviously had quotation marks coming up, but it's
Yeah.
plural, fairly. And by fairly, I mean totally with white supremacy in mind,
Absolutely. Yeah.
from the way our cultures have been. Um, Obviously, it's going to take some fucking time, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do anything we can today. Obviously, we need to. My point is how to look at this from like a perspective of trying to look for three people to look each other in the eyes at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible physically, but if we could figure out a way to do it, then there's probably something to that.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we'd be able to be like, just be able to be more connected without having to like justify our connections to each other.
Absolutely.
We could just be connected because we're human. And I know there's lots of humans that live that way
Yeah.
um, now, but obviously just not enough, not the
Yeah. Yeah.
mass amount of us,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, and I
yeah,
think too, I think there's a huge opportunity for people if they do want to see change,
yeah,
get out there and become part of something. So if it's
that's
Pride
right.
and you want to see Pride go in a direction, go out there and
Hmm.
start volunteering with them. Get to understand how the Pride Parade works. Volunteer with the
Yeah.
logistics of it. Get involved in that. And then start, I mean, you can get on the board of Pride. It is open, I think, every year they have to vote a new board in. So like there are ways to get involved and get your voice heard in these things. And that is honestly the only way it changes because if you don't hear voices, you don't know they exist. And so the only way
Yeah.
is to get all those voices to come in there and start
Hmm.
making a nice environment for everyone and getting
Yeah.
everybody to understand like, hey, what you have is what we all should have, or let's make it a little better for everyone. And like I think
Yeah.
that's the great thing is, to be able to come together and like look at what's better for everyone and move forward, right? But I would
Yeah.
encourage everybody to get involved. And I mean, that's if your community is the recovery community, get involved in the recovery. Like
Yeah.
you,
Some
you started
aspect of
your
it.
own meetings. You start, get involved and do that stuff. Like
Hmm.
there's lots of ways to get involved and help. So
Well, and one of the things I've learned through the years, how I've even gotten to this point, was one of the best ways to learn is to learn, obviously, study with
yeah,
someone, but also to teach, to try to
true.
teach what you've learned, right?
Yeah.
Like because you have to, as you're engaging, if you start engaging in a very genuine way with folks, you have to adjust.
Hmm.
There's you have to evolve your perception. If you really
Absolutely.
sit down and receive someone in their vulnerability, you have to adjust.
Yeah.
And if you don't adjust, then you have a clinical setting that might not be effective
Yeah.
in the long run, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
those settings are impossible to adjust.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why lots of folks are kind of tired of the clinical setting,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Is because they go into them and they're told, this is the way you have to do it here.
Yeah.
And because this is the way we do it.
For
And
sure.
if you
Yeah.
don't want to do it this way, go somewhere else. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, what about a place where you go and they say, how do you want to do it? Right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's what Freedom's Path was. And that's what we've tried to be about was how do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
what do
not
you want?
recovery based on what Dave tells you how
Uh,
to do it.
no, and what I used to tell people was that, pardon me, I'm going to sneeze or maybe burp. Um, but part of what I would tell folks is that within the recovery community, like if you become closed off, that's really that becomes the terminal side of things.
Yeah.
Is once we close down our ability to learn, and our desire to like grow,
Yeah.
because growth can feel like growth when you're just doing really good, and
Yeah.
people think, well, this is growth. No, that's
Yeah.
because you're doing good.
Yeah.
Now, doing good's a part of growth, but that doesn't mean growth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you and I both know when we were young, I don't know about you, but I used to get awful growing pains.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awful. Like
Yeah.
they'd be awful. Like I'd be aching and in agony,
I
right?
never got that tall, so I didn't get them that bad.
Okay, fair enough. And for taller people than me, even because like I imagine it hurts even more,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If depending on how much you've had to grow and in a short period of time. And I'm sure there's lots of other things that go into it.
Yeah.
But it's no different with emotional, mental growth, or
Yeah.
if folks want to believe in the spiritual growth. Like,
For sure.
I didn't mean that to be insulting. I just mean like whatever we believe in terms of growth, being stagnant is not a part of growth. There is
No,
no
not at all.
stagnation in nature. Like there is
Yeah.
just isn't. And so as humans, we don't stagnate either. We
Yeah.
we try to make ourselves like, and I know I have, like, especially in the first few years of recovery,
For
I
sure.
really wanted to stay the same, but
Yeah.
also get better. And those
Yeah.
two things don't go together.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to stay the same when I realized, shit, it's going to get a lot harder, and I don't want that,
Yeah.
um, because life really is a challenge.
It is. Yeah.
But it's a challenge to every living thing. Like
Absolutely.
you you watch a fucking bird. A bird spends all day in that challenge
Oh yeah.
of survival, just like we do. We
Just
just
like me.
tend to do it. Yeah, we tend to do it working for like shitty bosses or,
Well, and
you
we don't
know,
make it easier on any of the rest of us. Like we, as a
no,
species, we don't make it easy on ourselves to
no.
be in this world, even though
Yes,
we
and some
could.
of we could. And some of us make it even harder on others than it
Yeah,
has to be.
exactly.
And on ourselves too, right?
Yeah,
Um, but anyway, like the evolution of us is going to be slow.
yeah,
Um, because I think it was you and I, like the evolution of the planet, we've like humans have only been humans for what, like a million years, maybe?
yeah, something like that. I don't even
I don't
know. Yeah,
know, a couple 100,000 years.
yeah, but in
Like,
the grand scheme, you're talking billions of years of stuff. Like
yeah, man,
it's
drop in the
unfathomable,
bucket.
right?
Yeah. And I think that's why you said it. It's unfathomable to our brains in a
Yeah,
collective. So we try to narrow it down and we say,
yeah,
no, we can evolve in the span of say 80 years, our
yeah, yeah,
lifespan. And we try. We try our best to evolve from the
yeah,
time we were kids, and well, I'm not going to say everybody tries their best, but like some people, well, like we're humans. So there's a continuum of how hard we try.
yeah, yeah,
We have an end where we try nothing, and then we have an end where we try everything we possibly can, you know,
yeah.
to force growth. Um,
But I mean, that's society. You have people that will work at the same job for 50 years and they don't
yeah,
want to get involved in things. They don't want to, they
yep,
just want to live in their little bubble. And then on the opposite end, you got people that are like, no, we need to break down these systems and tear shit down
yep.
and rebuild and make it better. And that's just society, I think, too.
And I think that's a good thing to recognize,
Yeah.
is that continuum that I was talking about. I'm not suggesting it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting even on any point of that there's a negative,
Yeah.
because we we need every single one of us,
Yeah.
or else we wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
You and I
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
know the odds are not in our favor that you
Yeah.
and I are sitting here talking,
Yeah. Right.
right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, really think about it, man. The the
Yeah.
the mere possibility that you and I are here talking is like something like 2 in 800 trillion, man.
Yeah. I
Like
know.
it's
Right. It's
it's
nuts.
it's astronomical.
Yeah.
Um, when you think about it, it was kind of like, yesterday I was talking to someone and they mentioned, you know that they believed in God and everything like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and from a Christian perspective, and I said, I know I said that's really cool, like, and they said, you
Yeah.
don't believe, and I'm like no. I said, and the reason I don't anymore, I thought I did, I said,
Yeah.
and that's okay, like if that I did, or if I kept believing, that'd be
Yeah.
fine too. Frankly, it would have been easier
Yeah.
if I could have just kept believing and not had to go through the goddamn, but I'm glad I did now. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I said, well, it just doesn't, it's just not probable anymore. Like, and
Yeah.
I started looking at, like, not like just factually, but like the idea of one God versus the infinity possibilities of not that God.
Yeah.
It just, like, once you start thinking about that, I I I can't
Yeah.
I can't believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's like saying, well, the possibility of it being the Christian God, well, it's so unlikely.
Yeah.
Like,
Eight.
it's just
Yeah.
it's so fucking unlikely. Um, but I said, it doesn't mean it's not true. It
Yeah.
just means that it's not probable. And I
Yeah.
have a hard time believing in it. I had to turn that light off. It was starting to make me sweat, dude. Um, well, that's because that light is cooking. Yeah. Buy a $5 light off of Amazon and you get a $5 light off of Amazon. That
What?
yeah, it starts to burn down your house.
You get a tan
um,
at the same time.
oh, I think I was getting a tan. I was definitely starting to sweat. Um, so anyway, moving on, evolution aside, the evolution of this conversation is slowly coming to protests and Palestine protests and
Yes.
all the different things that go on in this town.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that on top of us gathering together and sharing in the struggle and the pain and the joy,
Yeah.
um, we're starting to see, dude, like from the 2 years ago when we started till
Yeah.
now, lots of us are starting to notice there's more support. There,
Yeah. Oh, I
you
think so.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, and like I was out walking with my mom earlier today,
Yeah.
and we were walking down towards the river, and there was a pop-up that they're doing now on the corner of Memorial and 10th
Yeah.
Northwest every Monday to Thursday from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. It's a Palestine rally. And they're doing one down in City Hall at the same time in solidarity. They have pop-ups now. And
Oh, wow.
and I didn't even know it was there. We were walking by and I saw a couple of people I knew, so I drugged my mom over there
No.
and made her meet a couple of folks, and she had a good time. She was
Yeah.
laughing
Yeah.
with folks.
Your
Um,
mom's pretty
it,
easy to get along with, so
oh, she's great. And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just told people it was my mom, and
Yeah.
because I forget names too sometimes. So, but it was awesome because
Right on.
on the one hand, when we were walking down, we were across the street, and I just shouted out "Free Palestine," and everybody started screaming, and then and then the cars coming by were honking. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just I've seen an increase in like that kind of show of support,
Yeah.
which
Absolutely.
now to some folks they might think, yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about the times where I've seen the firemen drive by giving us dirty looks, or the
Yeah.
cops giving
Yeah.
us dirty looks, or or anyone giving us dirty looks, giving us the
Yeah.
finger for being in their way on a sunny afternoon kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
um, it's kind of nice. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, it's kind of nice seeing people kind of wake up to some of these things.
Well, and I think, I know we probably got to get running, but I think that's kind of the misnomer that a lot of people have is they think because you protested and there wasn't immediate change the minute the protest ended.
Yeah,
Well, you guys are losers for going and protesting. But that's the
yeah,
thing is protests aren't about immediate, rapid, quick change. I mean, sometimes they
yeah,
are, yes.
yeah.
But what you guys are doing is awareness and it's being out there, being visible. And the more people see it and the more people see the words and start, do a Google search. And I think the more people have been aware, and I think certainly it has made it more publicly aware on social media and everything. So I think that's where having these weekly protests
Mhm.
that's the benefit of them is it's the long game. It's the
Yeah,
marathon, not the sprint, right? So
yeah.
every time you show up and every time you're smiling and every time people see like you're not these evil, horrible monsters that the media makes these Palestinians out to be, I think it
Well,
just
and
breaks down all that bullshit.
yeah, it does. And not even the media making us out to be a bunch of
Well, the government,
terrorists
everybody,
and
yeah.
fucking and like just Jane and John Lunchpail, man, like,
Yeah.
you know, trolling me online saying, "Back the blue, you traitor." Like all these little piglets out there sending me those messages.
Well, and
I
I
had
think too, I think a lot of people are realizing with the orange truffle down south that like it doesn't matter who you are.
yeah,
They like you might think like Palestinians or gay people, but like they're going for everybody down there now.
yep.
So
Oh yeah.
like if you really want that here, it will affect you eventually.
Oh, it's gonna be here.
You know? So
Like we're
like
already seeing it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
absolutely. So
audacity of the audacity of people to actually be so vocally anti-queer when it has absolutely nothing to do with them,
Yeah.
it's beyond me, man. It's
Yeah.
beyond me. I'm like, but of course, like I'm only looking at it from that one lens right now.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from a wider lens, you see how absolutely devastating it is for so many communities, right?
Hmm.
These
Yeah. Yeah.
these fucking archaic ideas about how
Absolutely.
humans are supposed to be,
Yeah.
from these arrogant old fucking men and women.
Well, and
Like
the
just
audacity and the gall to demand that people live the way
yeah,
I think they should live. Like,
yeah,
I just can't imagine having that kind of ego. You know,
yeah,
Dave, you can't do anything unless it's approved by me. Like,
yeah. I know I
that's a
don't even
level I don't
fucking
want to be at, man.
no, man. I want nothing to do with that shit. Yeah.
Right?
Fucking A, man.
So
So
just
yeah, so if you're out there and you want to like be a part of it, come join. Like if you're worried about not having like flags and all that kind of stuff, if you're watching the Calgary People's Assembly, look them up on Facebook, Instagram. Um, I think maybe TikTok now. If not on
okay.
TikTok, I'm gonna get them on there soon.
Yeah.
Um, just because it's an incredible it's just a place to share stuff, right? Again.
Yeah.
And I found a really good community on TikTok with like pro Palestine stuff,
Yeah.
pro Congo, pro Haiti, these places where there's massacres going on every day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course we don't hear about Africa, we don't hear about the Middle East from the
For
folks'
sure.
perspective. We
Yeah.
hear about it from our government's perspective, which we all should know by now is not accurate in terms of truth,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's accurate in terms of what they want us to believe is
Yeah.
true.
Exactly.
Um, so hopefully, we'll keep going, obviously, and there's other things that are going to come up. But I encourage everyone, if you want to come down on a Sunday when the Calgary People's Assembly are gathering, there's always lots of flags. There's always lot. There's been more people like the last few rallies,
Hmm.
and I think like that is encouraging to all of us, right?
Yeah.
Because I haven't been there as long as, like we mentioned earlier, some folks have been around for longer than 2 years, like from
Yeah.
doing this from day one in terms of their adulthood almost,
Yeah. For sure.
and even before that with lots of folks.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging, because the more of us are there, the more we can share with each other, and it
Absolutely.
doesn't get so overwhelmed, right?
Well, and
Um,
there's a lot of great people there. So, I mean, if you
yeah,
want to meet some great people and you're kind of, on the side of
yeah,
Palestine or you want to show support for it, I mean, it's a great opportunity.
yeah.
So,
It really is, and you'll be welcome. So
yeah,
that's not to say that you won't. It's not stressful, because it is. It can
yeah.
be stressful. It can be a lot of things. Part of how we deal with the stress too is we bond together while we're under stress, right? We
Hmm.
help each other. We defend each other
Yeah.
whether it's a passerby who is, giving us the finger because they hate anything that's not in their purview, their worldview. Um,
Hmm.
well, you know what? Sometimes that gets really uncomfortable for folks, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciate that because we don't get treated that way day to day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, well, especially if you're of my skin tone,
Yeah.
we don't get treated this way every day,
Right.
and so sometimes that, like, I've seen it even in myself where that white saviorism comes up, right?
For sure.
Because it's like I don't get treated this way, man. And don't you know that? Like nobody treats me this way.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like that white supremacy, the entitlement, like everything comes out.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not a bad thing. It's okay to recognize it and be like,
Yeah.
whoa, like, holy fuck here. We're
Yeah. Yeah.
we're in community here.
Yeah.
And this is not like something that I'm in charge of. I'm a part of,
Yeah.
right? Like, because we're all a part of it,
Absolutely.
genocide somewhere today means genocide somewhere else tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? Because if we just keep allowing it, and we have been, hence
Hmm.
we have a genocide in Canada and the United States in terms
Yeah.
of Black, Indigenous folks, right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people of color. Because I say people of color as well, because historically speaking, a lot of folks don't look at what Canada and the United States have done to Asian people, like
Yeah.
Japanese,
Yeah.
Chinese
Yeah.
folks who were a huge part of building the entire railroad across this fucking place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of folks were murdered and all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
While
Because of
we
that.
had internment camps out by
And
Kananaskis.
that's right.
We've had a glorious past. I mean, again, going back to police, the
Mhm.
RCMP, if you want to look up their fun history, look up the union busting they did in Saskatchewan where they
Yeah.
bombed places, things like that. Like they bombed newspapers that were reporting on the strikes. Like
Mhm.
that's where the governments will go. That's the extent they'll go to hide the truth. So you got to
Yep.
get out and you got to get in community. And you got to break down those barriers.
Yeah. And that's how, and you're right. And that's how that's how, if you don't have like inside information from people who are going through these things, connect with some folks.
Yep.
The best way to do that though is always to try to approach folks, like no matter who we're talking to, if it's a stranger you don't know, just be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we don't need to expect people to do for us what we think they should do for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
The idea is to be like, if I've if I've had an open mind and an open heart, I've been given like many gifts,
Yeah.
right? If I close that heart and open my mouth, I block myself from many gifts from people because I let my
Absolutely.
biases and bullshit get in the way when I
Right.
do that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I mean, obviously, it's not a perfect science because
Yeah.
I'm a giant turd sometimes. Um, like most humans, I can be absurd,
Yeah.
right? I can think crazy things. I can say crazy things, um, and the best that we can do is try not to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, try to do
Absolutely.
it less and less, I guess.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, is there anything else? Did we miss anything?
I think that was it. That was it on the list, man.
Okay. Right on, dude. And yeah, so I encourage folks to, go to Pride. Or
Yeah.
if you feel like you don't want to go to Pride, that's okay too. You don't
Yeah. Yeah.
have to. But if you're like me and you really need joy, it might be something that helps you find some of that, right?
Well, and I can attest it is a lot of fun to just go and watch. There's a lot of things
Oh,
going on. There's a lot of colors.
yeah,
Kids love it
yeah,
because it's so fun and colorful and joy filled. So it's
yeah,
just a lot of love and a lot of fun. So
yeah,
honestly, just on that level, go for that alone. Um,
yeah,
you know, if you're not into the politics of the world, fine. Just go
yeah,
and enjoy yourself for the afternoon.
yeah.
So,
And because just because Pride started as a riot doesn't mean it has to always be a riot, right?
yeah,
Like, I understand the idea of that, and I welcome people to be as angry as they need to be about
sure.
whatever it is that is wrong. I totally feel that. I also appreciate the fact that not everybody is super angry.
Yeah.
I appreciate that folks can that we can all approach this from our own perspectives, which isn't the same always,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Um, and that instead of for me, instead of criticizing, which I try not to do, try not to criticize people who are angry because I understand their anger is justified. Their
Yeah,
anger is like,
for
and I'm
sure.
not going to I'm not going to villainize them,
Yeah.
or vilify them for being angry,
Yeah, yeah.
because that's not fair. Because like we were talking about that continuum of things, from the
Hmm.
person who does nothing to the person who does everything, we have a continuum of humans within each community, just
Yeah.
like we have a continuum of humans within, if we put all communities together, we have quite a diverse group of humans,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's a good thing. That's not a fucking bad
It's always a
thing.
good
Like,
thing, man.
yeah, like it's,
Yep.
that's how we're going to get to that diversity of thought, that
Absolutely.
is by finally just being cool with each other, and
Yeah, man.
we'll have to get there, right? Because it's
Yeah,
easier said
takes
than done.
work.
Well,
It takes
yeah,
work and a lot of protests and a lot of
yeah,
effort.
a lot of effort and a lot of letter writing, a lot of
Yeah,
like,
yeah. A
you
lot of
know,
everything, man.
yep. And if you're a worker on strike out there, Godspeed. You know,
Absolutely.
I'll take that from NASA. They said Godspeed, even though nobody believed in God. They were
Yeah,
like, this is just a really cool thing to say.
right.
Um, yeah. But
Yeah, absolutely.
good for
I
you.
hope it.
And
I hope they get the pay that they
yeah,
deserve.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. And I hope they get paid for their work. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not okay to
No.
do that to
No.
folks. And so anyway, obviously in solidarity with the worker, and if there's like a rally, I know there might be, well, there was word of a teacher strike coming
Yeah.
up potentially. Well, I'll be standing with those teachers for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right
right
on,
on.
man.
Cool, dude. Well, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, as usual, dude. Awesome. Always
Yeah.
awesome talking with you.
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot. This
Um,
was awesome.
yeah, it was, dude. It's, and I know that like the one thing I was thinking earlier was even though it's not business as usual today, because it's just
Yeah.
not. It'll never be business as usual for me again. It just
Yeah,
won't.
yeah.
With everything that we now are aware of, and I'm gonna just go ahead and give myself credit for not knowing it sooner. But for everything that we start to become aware of as we become more globally connected,
Yeah.
um, as a society, man, I I don't even know what to say about that.
I
Just
know.
yeah, because there's so much pain out there. There's so many folks suffering, and
Yeah.
um, yeah,
And at the
and
end of the
so
day, we're all fucking human beings trying to
yeah,
survive every day, right? Like,
yeah,
we don't need to make it this hard on ourselves.
on each other either. Yeah,
Yeah, like, yeah.
yeah,
So,
right on. So
yeah, man.
anyway, yeah, take care out there, and you too, my friend.
Yeah,
We
you as
have to
well,
hang
man.
out soon, man. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Voices in Recovery podcast. We greatly appreciate your support, your listening, your sharing. Also, don't be afraid to check out the Native Calgarian podcast. You will not be disappointed. Michelle Robinson is a wealth of information on so many different subjects. It's hard to narrow it down to one, but I will absolutely say that podcast is about sharing Indigenous people's stories and realities to us. And so I encourage you all to check it out, the Native Calgarian podcast by Michelle Robinson. Also, check out the Walls Down Collective here in Calgary. And if you're able to, like, just like us, they need donations too. And of course, we do. We need support just like everyone else so that we can continue to provide free counseling. What Walls Down Collective, they require it for lots of different things. Every Friday they have a pop-up. Yes, I believe it's 3 to 4 nights a week. They have a on-call number you can call if you're in distress. So that's the Walls Down Collective. You can find out the number through them. And Stop the Stack YYC, if you are able to, you can support Stop the Stack YYC through their website, through their Instagram page. They have an Instagram, Facebook, and I believe Stop the Stack has a TikTok. And Walls Down may or may not have a TikTok, but they have Facebook and they have Instagram. The Native Calgarian podcast, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I believe, just about anywhere. And of course, you can find her podcast on Patreon. There's also one last one that I want to mention is Black Pride YYC. We work with them regularly, find it incredible what those folks are doing. And of course, they have invited everyone that listens to our podcast to come out at any time to their events. So don't be afraid if it's a Black Pride YYC event. Don't be afraid, like they're inclusive of everyone. Stay tuned for more stuff, and thank you again for listening and supporting us.